Hello everyone, it's Leo, and today we're going to talk about the second episode of the second season of Tokyo Mew Mew Mew, which was a mint-focused episode. This is a very welcome addition to the story. I'm very happy that they're adding episodes for the girls that are not in the manga, especially because I said I was not going to compare much to the manga, but it's impossible. I'm sorry, I can't. But especially now, from this point onwards, there's very little focus on the girls. And I am liking that they're adding more. Even when they're getting power ups and such, it seems like the focus is always on Ichigo. So I'm liking the shift, I'm liking the additions. They're very welcome. But I don't know how I feel about this episode. I don't know. Like, there were some parts that I loved and I had a lot of fun. But there were others that I didn't really throughoutly enjoy very much. So, one of the things I loved about this episode was the absurdity of it all, the exaggeration. It really felt like a 90s magical girl in this aspect because, like not Ichigo, Mint arriving in Ichigo's house in an ox and, like all of her servants around her just getting her there because she ran away from home. That was so nice. And also the exaggeration of Mint not understanding Ichigo's house and not being able to grasp the reality of a house of a lower income family. That was so cool. And that just plays on the absurdity of Mint's character. It's nice. But I also liked that apart from that, Mint's character was super solid. They didn't play on that very much. It was just for laughs at the start, but then we could really understand Mint. And I feel like I wanted more Mint and Zakuro. We didn't have Mint and Zakuro in this episode at all. But I liked Mint's portrayal as a young teenager. That feels very real and also welcome. So we have the fact that Mint feels very sad for her father and her brother not acknowledging her and her abilities and not taking her seriously. I feel like that is something that happens a lot with young teenagers. They feel like the world is against them. They feel like they're not being taken seriously by their parents and such. That is very real. And in Mint's case, it's like a little grander just because she is dealing with things that aren't really part of our reality because it's like a bigger reality. But her brother is the CEO. And when she questions him, he's like, yeah, I'm the CEO of a smaller branch of our company, not the big CEO like our dad. And she wants to have something of importance. She wants to do something big like her brother and her father do. And at the same time, we see Ichigo going back and forth with her parents as well, bickering, and, also her inability of being taken seriously by her parents. And their experience is so different. Like, their experiences are so different than each other, but they're able to connect through that. That was a very sweet scene. And I like that. That was very heartwarming. And then we go to Mint's plan of creating a reusable energy throughout wind that would help the economy and that would change the economy of Japan. And look, I think that for a character like her, having this big and grand dream feels on brand. It really feels on brand. She really wants to branch it out and do something huge like her family does. But she is doing things because she wants to be taken seriously by her family, not really because her family wants to see her doing something big. And her brother even tells her, like, what is it that you really want to do? And at that moment, she really wanted to prove that she could do something. But there was a nice shift in the episode because at a certain point, she didn't want to do it to impress her parents anymore. She wanted to do it because of all the qualities that would bring to the life of society in general. So she starts highlighting that a lot. And again, another nice touch to her character. And in the meantime, we have some scenes of the villains talking about Blue Knight. We see Aoyama daydreaming about Ichigo, the same dream that he had in the first episode of the season. We see Ichigo wondering and thinking about the Blue Knight as well. We see Lettuce trying to connect a little bit with Shirogane. And like we can, and even, what's his name? I forgot. The long-haired guy. The long-haired guy. He noticed that Lettuce is, having some feelings towards Yo already. She was able to notice that very quickly. And then we go to the battle scene. So we have Pai in this episode attacking, and his attack creates a scenario in which Mint's power source makes the Chimera Anima even stronger. So at this point, I start finding the episode very, very weird. First of all, one of the things I really loved about the first season was that the girls didn't feel useless. This was something that I felt a lot in the original Tokyo Mew Mew, the anime, and like in Magical Girls from the 90s, like Sailor Moon, for example. Like the girls, the magical girls, they feel kind of useless in battles, in like important battles. And I kind of felt the same about this one, and it's a glaring difference comparing this battle to the last battles that we had in the first season. They have experience already. They have fought tougher battles. And then we get to an episode like this, and, well, it was just a disaster. And Mint's power source was powering up the Chimera Anima, so she had to think, will I destroy it, or what else are we gonna do? There was absolutely no other possibility for Mint. The narrative didn't give her anything to work with. She had to destroy her generator, or else the world would have been destroyed, No one could have stopped that Chimera Anima. And, like, the narrative could have at least gave her a little bit more room to work with, or give her something different. She didn't even try to fight like the other girls. The other girls wanted to fight for Mint's idea. They wanted to protect Mint's plan. But Mint herself, she just watched. And that was another thing that I found kind of weird, especially because this episode was supposedly focused on her. I mean, it was focused on her. So I was wishing to see her battle powers a little bit more. But we did not. Her choice was to destroy her power generator so that Ichigo could defeat the monster. Like, this is so original Tokyo Mew Mew that it made me kind of angry. But still, the idea of her defeating the generator, I don't think that was a big problem, because I feel like there was room for them to work with that, and they kind of worked right, because they have created a scenario in which she noticed that wasn't exactly her dream. And she was doing things because she was trying to impress her parents, her parent and her brother, her family, and not really because that's what she really wanted to do. But at the end of the day, she felt proud of her work. She felt proud of everything she studied. She felt proud of all the hard work she had to get where she was. And she worked very hard to do everything she had to do. And even though it wasn't a perfect plan, the energy that was generated wasn't what she wanted it to be, it was still something that she should have been proud of. And she wasn't being able to see that. But after her brother arrived at the end and talked to her, she noticed that was something that she had to embrace and look and say, wow, I was able to do it. I was intelligent enough, I tried hard enough, and I could do it by myself. And I like that part. I also like that portion of the episode. But I don't know how I feel about the construction of it all, because Mint was so excited to help people and to create a plan that would benefit the country and the world and the environment, which is something that ties into the whole theme of Tokyo Mew Mew. And sometimes, or most times, the girls feel very disconnected from it. And it would have been nice if she dove deeper into this topic. You know, I feel like it could have been explored a little better. But overall, I think that, as I said, it was a nice welcome to Mint's character. I also liked that she has Mickey as her wallpaper in her notebook, in her laptop. Very nice. And I just wish we could have seen more of Mint. Like, not only as Mint, but also especially as Mew Mint. Mew Mint in this episode felt like an accessory. I wanted to see her transformation. We didn't see anyone's transformation. But as Muse, Ichigo was the one who was really shining. She was really sealing the scene with all of her powers. Even though it was nice seeing the girls use their powers as well, I love how they don't always use stock footage. That's very nice. I don't know how I felt about the usage of the Mew Mews in this episode, but there was another thing that it really impressed me, which was the soundtrack. I loved the soundtrack when the Blue Knight arrived and started fighting Pai. Very, very nice. But that should have been Letus's role in this episode. We didn't need the Blue Knight arriving. Even though we kind of need the construction of the idea of Blue Knight and who he is and the mystery and Ichigo's feelings towards him as well. So I'd give him that, but I would like to see a little bit more Pai and Letus crumbs. Especially because we see that in the opening. So I would like to see a better construction between them. I don't know if we're going to have it. But I feel like another downside of this episode was Pudding and Zakuro. They simply disappeared. Like, they had regular lines, but they didn't do anything substantial, especially Zakuro, because we're talking about Mint. Like, Mint didn't even have, like, lines specifically for Zakuro in this episode. That felt weird. I do understand the connection to Ichigo and going to Ichigo's house. Ichigo is the main character, so it makes sense. But Mint's obsession with Zakuro, it would have played nicely in certain moments of this episode. It could have been here, and I'm very sad it wasn't. But anyways, this was my view on the second episode of Tokyo MEW MEW Season 2. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Were you expecting more from you, Mint, as I was? I was. Not gonna lie. Anyways, babies, this is all for now. I'm gonna take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very, very much for your support. And if you've watched the channel, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!